So I was asked to speak about 21st century skills, and one of the things I think...
Laura, your elbow is on the microphone.
Sorry. One of the things that I think is interesting about the whole idea of 21st century skills is that they're not really 21st century skills. They're the same skills that John Dewey wrote about when he talked about schools needing to focus on building community and teaching students to solve meaningful problems and learn to become educated citizens. You know, there's nothing 21st century about that. That's sort of been the purpose of education all along. But as we've moved into the 21st century, there's been an increased emphasis on this idea that maybe our kids need to know more than just academic content. So what I put up here is a graphic created by an organization called Partnership for 21st Century Skills. And they created this lovely thing they call the rainbow and the waves. I have some handouts on the table that you can pick up on the way out if you want your own copy. And I think the thing that's interesting about this is that they have made a very complicated graphic for something that's actually pretty simple. At the top, it is that the rainbow speaks to stuff kids need to know how to do. And the bottom, the waves, speak to the conditions that need to exist in order for kids to be able to do those things. So I think that they spent a lot of time and money and energy creating it, and so I felt like I needed to put it up. Because look, it's pretty, right? The one piece that I really want to focus on is this piece that they call 21st century curriculum and instruction, because that's the work I focus on at Antioch. The Center for School Renewal has been focused on helping teachers achieve their goals more effectively for, 30 years, I think, at this point. So it's something that we're very comfortable talking with schools about. And so for us, this piece about 21st century skills comes down to what we call the critical skills classroom. It's something that was born out of actually a conversation between businesses and teachers and parents who felt like, maybe we could do more in terms of helping our kids be ready to be the kind of citizens that Dewey described. And so they created this model called the critical skills classroom. It's this lovely way of combining experiential learning, problem-based learning, a powerful collaborative learning community, and then whatever externally imposed standards people say you're supposed to be working with, which I think is the thing that makes it really work, because we don't tell you what kids are supposed to learn. We know that whatever is going on in your community is going to determine that. Teachers know what the academic content is. School boards make those decisions, curriculum committees make those decisions, and now we have the Common Core that makes some of those decisions for us, but it all still fits together very, very nicely. For us, the 21st century skills are these. But we don't tell people these are the skills you have to use. We know that more and more schools have a sense of what they want their kids to know, do, and be like. They have their own versions of habits of mind, or the virtues of a quality citizen, or International Baccalaureate has a whole learner profile that already sets this out. So we created this list in our early conversations with teachers, and over the last 3 years it's evolved a little bit. But we find that the basic skills and dispositions here continue to work. Teachers say, you know what, if my kids could do these things, I would be really happy if they could do these with regularity. And so by using the critical skills model, they can target both the academic content and these skills and dispositions at the same time, without it becoming yet another thing they have to focus on, yet another piece of the curriculum. It just becomes sort of the water that the kids swim in. And so this is something that they're doing all the time. In a critical skills classroom, students work with things called challenges, which are messy problems that students solve. And they move from very simple and academic to very, very messy and real world. So in the younger classrooms, it could be a problem as simple as when we come in from recess this time of year, we have a big pile of ucky-mucky mittens. How could we solve that problem so that everybody can find their mittens at the end of the day and they've had a chance to dry out. Here's the space we have for that, and here's the pile of mittens. How can we make these things fit into that space, which is a lovely introduction to geometry, and to patterns, and to sorting and organizing. As kids get older, they learn math by, there's a great challenge called the Largest Apple Challenge, where when kids do that ubiquitous apple picking field trip, that all first, second graders do, the principal gets on the bus and says, hey, bring me the biggest apple. And then the kids have to figure out, well, what is the biggest apple? Is it the heaviest apple? Is it the largest apple? What if it's a great big apple but it's full of wormholes? So then there's a lot of conversation there about quality and what are they really looking for in the biggest apple? And so then they get into weights and measures, and there's a whole set of things that are going on there for students that they come to make meaning of in a whole different way in solving this problem. And we've had students all the way up to the graduate level working with similar challenges and practicing these skills and dispositions at the same time. So I'm going to finish, see what I did there? With actually the words of a student. There were a group of students up at River Valley Technical Center in Springfield, Vermont, in Erin Hunter's classroom. She's a carpentry teacher there. And Erin's been using the critical skills model for years. And she tasked her students with working with the videography class there to create a set of videos describing the 9 characteristics of the critical skills classroom. So this focuses just on one of the characteristics having to do with targeting specific skills and dispositions. There are all 9 are available on the website. You're welcome to look at those. And I also put a couple of handouts out on the table out there if you'd like to pick up more information. Perhaps you'd like to attend a Critical Skills Institute this summer. I'm more than happy to talk about that after we're done tonight. So I'll finish up.